Part 2. I'm not an English teacher, but if there are two main clauses in this sentence, that can only mean everything behind the semicolon should be looked upon as one main clause. If that is so, everyone behind the semicolon can be considered mingled. But if that is not how the King's English works, no problem. My God reiterates, quote, and Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his servants, and his nobles, and all his people, semicolon, and all the mingled people, and all the kings of the Philistines, and Ashkelon, and Gaza, and Acharon, and the remnant of Azotus. Stop. As you can see, these cities were on the coastline and occupied by the Philistines / Palestinians. And we have already discovered they are as mingled as they come. Let's continue. Verse 21. Quote, and Idumea, and the land of Moab, and the children of Ammon. Stop. These are the nations under the Jordan banner we just read the Turks made their stronghold in. Notice, the whole of Idumea is dealt with just like other scriptures attest. The land of Moab will be burnt to the ground, just like other scriptures attest. And the children of Ammon will see all of this ass whipping and say, Uncle Israelites, Uncle, just like other scriptures attest. All are infected with the super Y and Turkish genes. Let's continue, please. Quote, and the kings of Tyre, and the kings of Sidon, and the kings in the country beyond the sea. Stop. These are under the Lebanon and Syria banner, and we all know how tainted they are, don't we? Let's continue. Quote, and Deodan, and Theaman, and Rus, and everyone that is shaved round about the face, and all the mingled people lodging in the wilderness. Stop. These are the nations going under Saudi Arabia and Turkey. We have already talked about how mingled they are. Let's continue, please. Quote, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Persians, Iran / Iraq, and all the kings of the north, the far and the near, each one with his brother, and all the kings which are on the face of the earth. Example. The rest are heathens' names that are not counted among the nations in our history book. Psst, psst, readers, psst. That feels good. I feel good right now. I'm going to go for it. No, I'm going to go for it. No. Not the full Monty, but just enough to let them know what happened. You with me? Phalanx with me and cover my left. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to ask you a question. When you read Uncle Daniel's interpretation of Nebuchadnezzar's dream, what did you perceive? I perceive what most of you perceive, until I get to the dispensation we are dealing with in this theory. Let me explain. See, if you look at the latter part of the interpretation of the feet with an analytical eye, the dispensation rightly named the Dark Ages, if you look at it without their witchcraft, you would see my God told us point blank the world was going to be infested by those not even accounted as wealth in his eyes. Yep. And the resulting miscongeniations of the bloodlines will be the host bodies of the fallen high holy ones in our toe dispensation. You don't believe me, do you? Is it because I'm colored? Yeah, it's because I'm colored. That's okay. Let's continue, please. Perceptual context. We all know the story and know the reason why my Uncle Daniel had to interpret the dream. We will start at how he wowed Nebuchadnezzar by knowing what he dreamed in the first place. Let's start at verse 32. Quote, "It was an image, the head of which was of fine gold, its hands and breast and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of brass, its legs, with an S, of iron, its feet, part of iron and part of earthenware." Stop. Bingo 8. This is the first evidence of two different genus of people ruling during the initial feat stage. One of metal and the other pottery that comes from the earth. And seeing the legs and feet are iron, this can only mean it is a kingdom that took some power away from the legs of iron at the beginning of the Dark Ages feat dispensation. Did you catch that? Let's continue, please. Verse 34. Quote, "Thou sawest until a stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and it smote the image upon its feet of iron and earthenware, and utterly reduced them to powder. Then once for all the earthenware, the iron, the brass, the silver, the gold, were ground to powder, and became as chaff from the summer threshing floor. And the violence of the wind carried them away, and no place was found for them. And the stone which had smitten the image became a great mountain, and filled all the earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king." Stop. Like I said before, we all good thus far. We all good. No need to rehash what we already know. Let's continue to hear what it means, shall we? Quote, "Thou, O king, art the King of kings, to whom the God of heaven has given a powerful and strong and honorable kingdom in every place where the children of men dwell." Stop. This is only talking about the children of Adam men. You know, the children in our earth circuit. We know this is true because Nebuchadnezzar never crossed Turkey. Mesopotamia/Syria to Egypt, yes. Beyond Turkey, no. But let's continue, please. Quote, "And he has given unto thine hands the wild beasts of the field, and the birds of the sky, and the fish of the sea, and he has made thee Lord of all. Thou art the head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and a third kingdom, which is the brass, which shall have dominion over all the earth." Stop. Notice, this kingdom is unlike and more powerful than Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom, in that this kingdom has dominion over all the earth. History attests to this being Alexander the Great and his 4 boy-loving generals. Let's continue, shall we? Question: who was the next superpower in history? You don't know? Let's continue, please. Quote, "And the fourth kingdom, which shall be strong as iron beats to powder and subdues all things, so shall it beat to powder and subdue." Stop. Yep. The mighty bone crushing and split into 2 kingdoms, the curiously ethically different and distinct Romans. Now here is where I need you to perceive everything we have discovered thus far. If I am not mistaken, the Gentiles and Hun whores overran one leg of the empire, while the other leg, which was at the heart of Turkey, outlasted the overran leg by 1,000 years. If this is true, the start of the feat must be after the fall of the other leg. And that can only mean the feat start the Dark Ages. We know this is true because history attests both Romes were operating at the same time for quite a time. The Hun/Turks took over one leg and hounded the second leg until it fell. Saying all of that, let's continue, please. Perceptual context. If looked upon with an analytical eye, there are three different players in this game: the iron, the earthenware, and the iron-earthenware mix. You know, just like our theory proposes. A civilization of subterranean people overran the heathens, and the ethnically different elite mingling themselves with the overran heathen. Again, the feet are the start of the Dark Ages. So think about everything we have discovered about that time period. Verse 41, quote, "And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of earthenware and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, yet there shall be in it of the strength of iron." Stop. As you can see, these are two separate powers. You can't be divided and mixed at the same time. You want to know how I know this? Because of what it says next. Quote, "And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of earthenware and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, yet there shall be in it of the strength of iron. As thou sawest the iron mixed with earthenware." Stop. Bingo B. Ow! Why is this a bingo moment, you ask? Because I already know you were thinking this was talking about Christianity and Islam sharing power. As you can plainly see, ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning of the Dark Ages, earthenware mixed with iron. Yep, the miscongeniations of the bloodlines right in our faces. Didn't we discover the civilization of the Huns, the earthenware, out of nowhere and with blitzkrieg speed, mixed with the heathens on both sides of the globe at the exact same time in world history? Yes, we did. I can slam the mic down right now. Why? To make sure that it's broke. No follow-up. But I know I'm talking to a stiff-necked and iron-sinewed people whose brazen forehead is still mingled with doubt. I understand that. I understand that. That is why my God allowed Uncle Daniel to continue for those with the cold perceptual context. Okay, so we have feet that are mixed with iron and worthless earthenware. But is that all? Nope. We have yet another dispensation to deal with. Yep, our dispensation. The toes. Let's continue, please. Quote, "And whereas the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of earthenware, part of the kingdom shall be strong, and part of it shall be broken." Stop. Notice, it says, quote, "part of iron and part of earthenware," which can only mean two different genius under one banner of first creation mankind. This also proves all of the angelic evildoers are not on the same team. Remember when the Indian man told us the second wave that came out of the earth fought against the first wave? Just like today, you have Saudi Arabia in league with the infidel, the great Satan itself, killing other Turkish Muslims. You got the Turkish Israelis killing everyone that opposes them at will, Turks or Arabs. So we have the iron heathens, earthenware Turks, and the mixed earthenware iron Turkish elite people represented. Let's continue, please. Quote, "Whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with earthenware, they shall be mingled with the seed of man, but they shall not cleave together, as the iron does not mix itself with earthenware." Let me read that again. "Whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with earthenware, they shall be mingled with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave together, as the iron does not mix itself with earthenware. Example. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, they, in this case, the fallen high holy ones, will mix themselves with the iron earthenware mix. You know, the elite. And as we can see before our eyes today, they are not sleeping with chicks like in the days of Noah. They are using genetic technology. And on the other end of the spectrum, and before our very eyes today, they are not on the same team. Thank you for looking at this video series. I received a new contract and my hours working are about to change. I have no idea if I will be able to continue doing videos or not. So, thank you for everything, Triple C's. I love you truly, truly I do.